Hello. My name's Andrew. This is my testimony on how God cured me from type 2 diabetes. Currently I am 60. When I was in my late teens I started going to a gym in the mid-70s till early 80s, and being a hard gainer wasn't easy, but I was determined. After 4 months I began to notice a difference. I began to get cut really well and increased muscle size slowly. Unfortunately my gym life was cut short due to life issues, and so I had to give it up for a while. Fast forwarding to 2004, I noticed a slight change in my health and began to drink a lot more fluids than I normally did. I didn't take too much notice till one day someone told me I should get myself checked, and so I did. In 2006 I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which turned into a full-blown type 2. Taking 2,000 milligrams of metformin a day and injecting myself with insulin 3 times a day. I began to put on weight, which didn't worry me too much as I just put it down to growing old. But then after taking the medication for diabetes for 9 years, I began to notice other changes in my body. Fast forwarding to 2015, I began noticing sore joints and muscle fatigue and aches. My eyesight was suffering and I began to get numbness in my limbs. This took its toll on my body and I knew I had to do something about it. It was now up to me, but I didn't really know what to do, so I prayed to God for guidance, and He did. Around mid-2016 I went to my diabetic educator, who then gave me a request form to get a blood test done. The results weren't good. I knew then I had to do as God told me, and as I took each step in faith, He walked me through the next stage. Because I relied on God to help me to get there, it wasn't as hard as if I would have done it myself. My GP didn't do much to help, so I had to take my life in my own hands. I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. The first and most important thing I had to give up was sugar and sugary substances. With the help of God, it was easy. I couldn't do it by myself. I needed God to help me in this journey, and He did. As soon as I began giving up sugar, things began to change. My eyesight surprisingly became clearer. I then thought this was the cure to all my problems, and now I need to get off the diabetic drugs. I slowly took myself off all the diabetic drugs, and without getting into the details on how I did this, let me just say today, I am slim and trim. No aches or pains. Eyesight is normal, and I felt I had so much more energy, so I started to do weight training again, but this time using resistance bands. I feel better today than when I was in my 30s. My first workout after a long time was amazing. I couldn't believe I got pumped virtually right away. I guess this is what they call muscle memory. I do OMAD, 1 meal a day, and train 3 to 4 days a week. I don't eat anything the whole day and work out just before breaking my fast at dinner time. Before I have anything to eat, I make sure I drink a glass of ACV apple cider vinegar, only a few caps in a glass of purified filtered water with a touch of warm water. Wait 30 minutes, then have my meal. I do this because as you get older, the ability to break down food decreases. The stomach doesn't produce as much acid as when you were younger. You could even take a digestive enzyme capsule if you prefer. This helps as well. Anyway, after the meal I have my high-protein organically grown green smoothie. At times I may just have the smoothie. Then I just relax for a few hours before retiring for the night. One most important aspect I must say here is, Walking and doing lower body exercise for men over 50 is the most important exercise you can do. This helps to raise testosterone levels as the lower body has the biggest muscles in your whole body. Please note, do not do cardio exercises. Cardio has been proven to increase cortisol and you don't want this. Best to do HIIT, height intensity interval training. Example of this is while you walk for say, 30 minutes. Add a few short sprints for around 10 to 15 seconds, then back to walking again. Don't power walk. Just walk a little fast then normal, keeping in mind to always keep your core abdominal muscles tight and tucked in while walking. Then, if you have time after your walk, you can add a few more lower body exercises such as squats, etc. You can find most beneficial exercises to raise your testosterone on YouTube. When you raise your testosterone, this is when you can start building muscle. As long as you also have a good, healthy, strict diet and at least 7 to 8 hours sleep a night, you should feel the difference in your body and have better mental alertness. Side effects of diabetic drugs. I never knew the dangers of consuming drugs to control diabetes, just how it had affected my overall health. I thought while I was taking these drugs I could still eat whatever I wanted. But I was very wrong. I was continually tired and slept at any chance. Even on my lunch breaks I would find a place to have a power nap. I was consuming loads of chocolate-coated fruit and nuts. Eating 6 to 12 cinnamon donuts in one go. Had 2 to 3 teaspoons of regular white sugar in my coffee and ate all the wrong things. Then one day I noticed my big toes weren't looking too good. The nails began to separate from the skin and fungus began to appear under the nails. The scary part is when I went to cut my big toenail, it came off. By this time I knew something was seriously wrong, and as my feet were also going numb, I thought this wasn't good. So, I prayed and God helped me. This took a little time, and as I found an alternative to metformin, I slowly but surely made the transition till finally after 1 month I was completely off metformin altogether. I also knew by injecting myself with insulin 3 times a day wasn't the right thing to do, and so God guided me again to the next step till finally I was no longer dependent on insulin. Liver cleanse. It was time now to do some inside cleaning, and so God guided me to a herb that everyone classed as a weed. This herb is dandelion root. I knew I had a fatty liver problem, and so each morning I made a cup of dandelion root tea with a teaspoon of stevia. With much research, I knew this will also help the pancreas and do some repairs, the digestive system. After a few months I did some more of my own research and found surprising facts about the digestive system and how it interacts with the brain. I found Hippocrates is considered to be the father of modern medicine. He lived about 2,400 years ago. He was born in the island of Kos and died at the outskirts of Larissa at the age of 104. He also quoted, "All disease begin in the gut." It's common to overlook the health of our gastrointestinal system, even though it contains 10 times more health-determining bacteria than the rest of our body. Protecting us from infection, supporting our metabolism, and promoting healthy digestion and elimination. Unfortunately, the majority of the population has inadequate beneficial, good, bacteria, excessive damaging, bad, bacteria, and a lack of bacterial diversity. Largely because of a poor diet, but also because of vermedicating, with antibiotics, birth control, NSAIDs, antidepressants, antacids, etc. Chronic stress, which can alter digestive secretion, gut permeability, blood flow, sensitivity, and even change bacterial composition. Exposure to environmental toxins, notably pesticides, PCBs, herbicides, arsenic, BPA. Cleaning the gut. I found the only way I could really help my body at this stage was to flush anything that has been accumulating over these years. After my initial cleanse, I then replaced the old, bad, bacteria with good bacteria by the foods I ate. This took time, and it seemed to take forever till my next visit to the toilet. However, when I finally did, it became a normal process, and with the help of drinking lots of water, I felt it done a good job. I won't disclose the means and ways I've cleansed my gut, as there are many you can choose from at YouTube. My method helped me, but it may not help you, so I'd recommend you find one that's suited to your own liking.